Hey there, we're back. All right, so let me just pick up where I was in 5-1. So I was just mentioning that the probability of this event, F, would be 3 out of 20 because there are three possibilities. Event G is 1 out of 20, and event 3 is, H is 3 out of 20. Okay. Now, you could reduce all of these or find them in decimal form. Let me show you that. And please, for the love of goodness, don't forget you have Excel, right? So you can make Excel do simple grunt work like division for you. All you have to do is type equals 3 divided by 20. You've got it. So you know that this guy has to be 0.15. Okay? And so on. And this one I happen to know is 0.05. All right. Now, again, the fractions are fine. If they want a reduced fraction, you'll have to reduce it. Decimals are the most common thing. Now, if an event is impossible, that means it could never possibly happen. That would mean, let's see, let me give you an example here. The probability that the Lions will ever play in the Super Bowl. What's the chances of that? A big fat 0. When something is impossible, it means that the probability of it is 0. Right? Nada, zip, zilch, because it can't happen. All right, what about something that's certain? All right, for sure going to happen. Okay, what would that be like? Well, let's think. It's kind of hard to think of something that will happen. Oh, here you go. When you roll a 20-sided die, let's do something less lame. How about this? The probability of death and taxes, according to Franklin. All right? Death and taxes. I think it was Franklin. It was either him or Jefferson. I'm pretty sure it was Franklin. He's the kind of person that would say something like that. Is 100%, right? I.e. 1. You're never going to get out of death and taxes, no matter what the vampire shows he claim otherwise, right? Right. So 100%, 1, right? If it's something that's definitely going to happen. Now, an unusual event depends on the context, but for our purposes, an unusual event will be, now remember we talked about unusual back in chapter 3, and we said that unusual equals more than 2 standard deviations away from the mean. Well, how does that correlate? You know what, let me pull those notes up. Hold 1 second, I'll be right back. There we are. This is section 3.2's notes. So you can go grab these on your own. It was I'm looking for the page 13 of the chapter 3 notes. But right here, see 2 standard deviations away. Well, let's put it this way. Within 2 standard deviations is 95%. So past 2 standard deviations is over here in this tail or over here in this tail. So that's 2.5 altogether, and that's 2.5 altogether. So together that would mean 5%, right? So for chapter 5, what that's going to mean for us is an unusual event will be any event, oops, let me put it down here. Any event with a probability of less than 5%, 0.05. Right? So it's not always that way. Some books like it further away than that. It just depends. But this particular textbook says any event with a probability of less than 5%. And it's all tied up with those 2 standard deviations away from the mean for a normal distribution. All right, so that's that. Now let's talk about some basic rules of probability. And apparently all my typing has shoved some stuff further down. Sorry about that. So these probability rules say that first one says that every probability has to be between 1 and 0. So P of E, probability of event E, has to be smaller than or equal to 1, greater than or equal to 0. And then when you add up all the sample space, they have to make 1 altogether. All right, so let's do it. You open up a bag of Reese's Pieces and count how many there are of each color, placing the number in the table below. All righty, so let me pull up this for a second. If I make this 80, 33, 44, I need the sum of those, 157. So each of those relative frequencies, oops, you know what, we're out of time. Let's hold that thought, and I'll be back for the relative frequencies for the next video.